Let me give you an example because maybe you're confused. In the 6th grade, Miss Harris was snatching papers from everybody in the classroom. So me as a 10-year-old, I went to the principal and said, I'm tired of Miss Harris snatching papers. And I organized the students around getting Miss Harris to stop snatching papers. Now, there was a consequence for that. I got suspended for 5 days for talking back, and I got in trouble. I got a spanking, and I was on punishment for months and months. But that is a simple way of organizing.
In this video, Vivek Ramaswamy goes on The Breakfast Club and is confronted by a deranged progressive cat mom who thinks she's going to prove that Vivek Ramaswamy is actually incompetent and doesn't have the experience to become president because he didn't take civics seriously in high school. He was never the class president, so that makes him incompetent, I guess. Regardless of the fact that he ran as a Republican nominee, he's built multiple businesses. So yeah, it's just one of them insufferable, broken modern women who thinks she's really, really smart, and she does nothing but expose herself in reality. Let's take a look.
You good?
Yes, I do. So I've heard a lot of, what you think and your vision, and I'm a very practical person, and I want to kind of, opposed to talking about your opponents, let's talk about you for a moment, and let's actually talk about your policy. Explain to me your position on this civic duty voting.
Sure. So my position is, I think that every kid who graduates from high school should know the minimums about the country that we require an immigrant to know about the country in order to become a citizen.
Absolutely.
So there's a test. My mom had to pass it. Every immigrant has to pass it to this country that asks you some basic questions. What are the 3 branches of government? What branch of government does the U.S. president lead? Some basic questions about what is the Bill of Rights. It's like a multiple choice exam, or some of them you write in. I think that if we're going to ask immigrants to pass that test, as we should, I think every 18-year-old who graduates from high school should have to pass that as well, because young people, it goes back to that issue of pride. You don't value a country that you don't know something about. You don't value something you inherit. You value something you have a stake in creating, in building, or knowing something about.
Well, I got a test. I got a test. I would like.
This is This is what the radical left has created. A whole army of these activists with flawed visions of reality and America.
Like to see if you're willing to pass, because I believe in, just as you believe in civic engagement and changing
He would like
the
to
ideas
know
of.
if he's smart enough to pass. Like, good one, lady. And of course, the pathetic Breakfast Club all laughs in the background like she said something smart or cool, or I don't even know. But this is why we have to get rid of this radical left-wing government, because they are destroying people's minds with this trash.
Of what political opponents look like, what they should look like, our political candidates. Are you willing to take a test with me quickly? Because I just have a couple of questions for you.
I will, absolutely.
So
and the way this is opening up, I have a feeling I'm about to.
Right, yeah. Just for clarity, I am an independent. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. Cool. I think that's important for the premise of.
You are a radical left progressive. You've proved it already.
Argument, because I know you did a lot of debating at Harvard. I also want to make it clear that these are the same questions that I asked
at Harvard.
Democrat Marianne Williamson. So I want to make sure that we put that out there as well, just to kind of set the foundation for the test.
I'm open to being humbled. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Let's go. So you mentioned, the pride of being an American and how important it is to have pride in this country. I'm also a veteran, by the way, for the United States Air Force. So when is it?
Cares. These narcissists, these radical progressive narcissists, just watch how she does this. She keeps talking, going on about herself. No one asked you. You're not the guest on the show. No one cares.
That you voted for the first time?
I voted in 2020.
Okay, so you're how old again?
I'm 37 years old.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement? Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer.
And then he ran for president as a Republican candidate. You fool.
And actually, that's what I wrote this
I
book
wrote
about.
a book about.
I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection of my journey as a citizen to whom this country has given much, right? As an adult, when you have kids, it changes your perspectives. I'm very honest about that. Absolutely.
Okay, no problem. So let's go deeper into the self-reflection. So you've sat around for, and sir, I'm being as respectful as I possibly can. Please don't take anything
and you don't even have to be. And you don't even have to be. So take it off and let's go.
So you've been sitting around in the country that my ancestors built for about 20 years. Your parents came
that's
over.
Being as respectful as she can. If you really believe oh my God, dude, the stupidity behind that statement she just made. If you really believe that this country was built on the backs of, African American slaves, you are a damn moron. Period. That would sink into your brain and you would actually believe it to be true. You are dumb. Period. I can't be any more respectful about it. You are dumb if you really believe that. You have been brainwashed by progressive elites because it's so dumb, man. The founding of this country, we were 13 colonies? Like the bottom 5 of them had slavery. The rest of the shit belonged to the Indians, and we fought a damn war with them to take it. Like, oh my God, like the bottom half country or states had slavery. That's it. The other ones didn't have it and wanted to abolish it. So how the fuck do you get, and we were 13 states, so all the other, 37 states didn't even exist yet. Still colonies, you moron. And somehow you think this entire country was built by black people? You are stupid. You are dumb.
Immigrants brought you over. You made millions, according to your resume, off of this country, and you have absolutely not been involved in civics. 1, not voting, and 2, let me just ask, because I know you mentioned earlier you don't want to sit around at the debate and talk about accomplishments. Let's make the accomplishments pretty simple. In high school, were you ever a class president or take any leadership role? Because your opponent did, Chris Christie. He was the class president. So have you ever taken any leadership at all on any?
Bruh. You've got to be joking me. You did not just Harvard. He's made millions of dollars in business. Sounds pretty competent to me, but no, he's incompetent because he didn't take an 8th grade. He didn't run in the high school presidential race. What are you talking about, you moron? Literally. You just exposed how dumb you and everybody you hang around is. Like, oh my God, man.
Or just
can I just correct a couple factual things that are kind of important? My parents didn't bring me over to the country. I was born in this country, and I'm proud of that.
No, I know you were born here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio.
You mentioned my parents.
I'm saying your parents were immigrants. My apologies.
And that's all right. You said your parents brought you over to this country. I thought I would set that record straight.
I mean, they were immigrants, but let's not go down the water hole.
No, we're not going to water hole. I just want to correct a couple facts. And then the other thing is,
you were born here in Ohio.
Yeah.
I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's right.
Right. So you've been here your entire life.
Her own mistake. Just keeps right on blabbing this trash.
So the question is, did you take any leadership role in middle school, high school, class president?
I did.
I know you played tennis. What is it? Explain it to us.
Student council. But, I think that this is...
Did you take any student council role? Did you run for presidential high school race? I know you went to Harvard and you made millions of dollars in business and you already ran for president, but...
Yes, I have held leadership roles over my life, but those don't qualify me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it kind of does. Okay, it kind of does. Well, I'm giving the test. I'm the test administrator.
All right, there you go.
So it kind of does, because when you go from saying I want to go to the highest office,
and I'll tell you, I've led companies as well. Is the other leader?
Right,
the main leadership role I've played is and I want to talk about one early part of your premise that I also want to say, to bring it to the country point. The other point, you use the word sitting around. I'm not somebody who's saying I want the next generation, my kids' generation, to have more civic duties when they graduate from high school and college than I did when I did. That being said, I wasn't sitting around. I've developed medicines, 5 of which are FDA-approved products today, one of which is a life-saving therapy in kids, 20 of whom die by the age of 3 if they're not treated, 70% of whom now live lives of a normal duration. Another one for prostate cancer. So I don't apologize for making contributions. But
right, well, I don't want you to filibuster that because it's not
filibustering. You asked him why he's competent to run the country or run for office. It was your stupid-ass question, lady. Like, what is wrong with you? Your brain is broke. She's got full TikTok brain. Straight up. There's no other explanation for this type of stupidity. A normal person in this situation would be like, oh shit, I'm actually wrong about everything I just said, and I should probably back off now. But no, you know what she does? She decides to talk about her own 8th grade political career. It's mind-numbing how stupid these people are.
Question that I asked, and I don't consider as a veteran, I'm talking about service. I'm not talking about what you
Civic
did for
service,
profit.
yeah.
I'm not talking about what you paid people to do with your company.
So
I'm not talking about
I've not served the country
because that means nothing to me.
You do
what I'm
realize
talking,
she
what I
hasn't been
am
able to ask a question.
She's actually retarded.
You've been talking
I'm
over.
talking
I'm all ears.
We gave you the platform to let you say.
I'm all defensive.
Yeah,
I'm all ears.
well,
I was just correcting a couple
She hasn't had a chance
facts.
to
That's
ask a
all.
question yet. Every
Go
time
ahead,
she
Ted,
tries
ask
to
the
ask a
question.
question, you've been cutting her off. Go ahead, Ted.
I'm all
Do you
ears.
see why I think the United States might actually be straight up doomed? Like, if we come back from this, it'll be straight pure luck. Nothing more.
So my question again is, you're trying to, your goal is to raise the standard, and you're saying you want people to believe in country and you want people to have civic engagement. Yeah. And sir, I just find it very telling that you haven't had any civic engagement at all and haven't been at all. And when I say sit around, I don't mean you haven't done anything. I'm talking about in regards to service, because one thing about political office, the same way that you want to change how people look at politics and look at this country, I want to change how people look at politicians. And when I see that someone hasn't did anything at all to be of service to mankind, to take a leadership role. It's not good enough to just be on city student council. Were you a leader? All of that applies. Have you been able to get anybody in the room at any time, from a high school gymnasium to Ohio, Republican leadership there to now? Have you been able to get anybody in a room to believe in this vision? I don't agree with a lot of your vision statement, but I do know you've been going around having these discussions and getting everybody emotionally worked up to talk about vision and debate. But I want to get to the practical. You're trying to go from preschool to president of the United States. You're skipping
He runs
over.
around and actually talks facts and logic and gets people together to understand what's really going on in the world. She has been ideologically captured and brainwashed by the radical left and thinks that he's the one drumming up demagoguery and emotion. Look at her. She's all emotion. There hasn't been a logical thing come out of her mouth so far. And it hasn't stopped running. This is why, there's such a divide between men and women right now. She's insufferable. Insufferable. Completely. 100% broken. Like, I couldn't be around her for more than, this video.
City council, county council, mayor, governor, you want to go straight to the top. So my question is this a PR? Is this for the PR, the perception of reality? Or can you point to any leadership where you've been able to get people to believe in what you're talking about that they're not paid to do on any of these vision statements?
Does she think PR means perception of reality? Because I think she does. I think that's what she just did there. Oh my God.
If not, then to me it's a moot point, because you're holding a standard that
is going to count government.
Everything you just said was mute points. None of it was smart. None of it made any sense. You know what you did? You made a complete fool of yourself. That's what you did.
Government service. You're
No,
absolutely
not government
right.
service.
Okay.
Student council in the
I
8th
know you went
grade,
to
9th
Harvard and
grade.
ran multiple businesses and developed drugs and all that, but did you run for 8th grade office? And she really believes that she's like saying something right now. She's really getting at him. You know, like it's mind blowing how dumb these people have. How the progressive left has literally subverted these people's brains, like completely demoralized this woman, and she thinks he's the one demoralized and she's the smart one. This is the problem in our country right now.
Were you a leader? Did you do anything to rally anybody? Did you fight for better lunch? I did in the 6th grade with Miss Harris.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about government. I can go all the way back from the 5th grade every year, sir, because people who are in service to this country, if you're going to go around saying you want people to believe in
Did
this
you
country,
fight for lower lunch pay or something? Like, oh my God, man.
and I want to make sure that you're holding that same standard. So not government, not political. Let's not get it confused. Yeah. I'm saying, have you did anything of service that we can point to say he is a good leader? Like Chris, and I'm not even a fan of Chris Christie, but he was the student council president in high school. So have you done anything of service besides yourself that has not benefited yourself? It's just a simple question.
Oh
So the acts of service that I have performed are small.
Ooh, man. Like, what a despicable, dumb, pathetic human being to speak to someone that way and think you're doing something. Like, what the is happening to our country? Seriously. Someone please explain it to me. What happened to these people?
So small that I don't even want to talk about them to boast. But yes, have I volunteered for this country? Yes, I have. I've always been interested in healthcare.
It's okay to talk about the small things.
I mean, these are small things, right? But thank you.
Oh, well, let's just mention it.
Bethesda North Hospital.
So it's really a no?
No, it's not a no. It's just something I don't like boasting about. I volunteer.
We're not boasting. It's an interview.
Simple.
You're boasting on your vision and everything else.
I think
you
you
boasted on the million.
No one gives two fucks whether you made lunch, you rallied people around the lunch system, or like whatever garbage you're talking about.
Dollars that you made. So let's just throw it out. So in 6th grade, I'll give you an example. I'll help you out. In 6th grade, Miss Harris, Miss Harris was let me give you an example because maybe you're confused. In the 6th grade, Miss Harris was snatching papers from everybody in the classroom. So me as a 10-year-old, I went to the principal and said, I'm tired of Miss Harris snatching papers. And I organized the students around getting Miss Harris to stop snatching papers. Now, there was a consequence for that. I got suspended for 5 days for talking back, and I got in trouble. I got a spanking, and I was on punishment for months and months. But that is a simple way of organizing
This is
people.
what they do.
So I want you to
I organized around Miss Harris, and I went and told them, no one asked you. You're not the guest on the show. No one cares. No one cares even a little bit about Miss Harris and her snatching papers. What are you even talking about? You should have shut your mouth a long time ago. Period. When you gave it, like, you should have never went into this example, because now you really showed how completely insane and ignorant you are. Like, did you really just give a whole, like, how you got some suspended from school as an example of why he's supposed to not be competent or whatever? I'm sorry to be so straightforward, but she's dumb. Because, you know, it's because she really thinks she's doing something, is how you could tell really how fried her brain is. Like, because she still thinks that this is impressive or something.
You should kind of boast about it the way you did the millions of dollars and said what you did with the pharmaceutical companies. What leadership can you point to that you've been able to rally anybody around anything that is of service that you did not pay anybody to do?
If you made it this far, you are much appreciated. If you like content like this, please maybe subscribe or something.